Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Happy Mother's Day. Now, a lot of people have called us this morning and said, I can't make it. I'm doing Mother's Day, or my son came by, or my daughter came by for Mother's Day. So we are so excited about the ones of you here that made it. And as soon as Dr. Jan and Dr. Ayleen calm down, we can start church. I want to thank you, our visitors from the north, our wonderful Reverend Ronnie Grigsby and Kevin Nicholson. So thank you. Welcome. We have missed them, and yes. So it's nice having them here. It's wonderful. Because it's Mother's Day, I want you to open up your program and look at the inside. This is something that I just think is so neat. And Corky did this. And thank you so much, Corky.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yay. Woo.
That's because Corky's awesome.
That's because Corky's awesome.
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you.
And I just love that because so many of us have lost our mother. When you say you lost your mother, it sounds like she went into the forest and is missing, but a nice way of saying our mother has passed away. Picture of my mom is up there, and
for you Zoomers.
Oh yes, thank you, Ed.
All right.
Yeah, great, thank you. And so we celebrate all types of moms.
Wow.
And especially,
so beautiful.
Yeah,
especially just like you.
Yeah, we did. We have very few things that look like, and but yeah, our smile is pretty similar. And the good news is that her bench is going to be going back to Seacliff.
Yay!
And for those of you who knew my mom, every time we take any kind of trip, and I'd have a badge on a retreat that would say Mom, she turned upside down so it said wow. So it got so that everybody called her wow, and that's what the bench says is wow. Eleanor Wow Ostroga. And she was a wow, and very, very exciting. And I'm sure we're going to hear about your mothers today. Is that correct, Joan?
Yes.
Yes, you're our speaker. I have to check in with her here. And thank you all for wearing such flowery things today. Joan has flowers. Jan has the colors of April. You have flowers on your pants. Mary has flowers on her dress. Corky has flowers on her top. Anybody else flowers over there? Nina, do you have flowers? Hey, look at there's more flowers. Yeah.
Do you need to bring flowers? I make a rough up.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz. Now I know where the flowers is. So thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And hey, Ed, how are we doing over there? Do we have some people coming on Zoom?
They're just looking at the flowers.
They're out looking at the flowers. Good.
It's a flower day.
Oh, good, it's a flower day. I want to thank you so very much for being here. I'm the Reverend Doti Boon, and this is the Center for Creative Living. And how many people here have a birthday coming up? Anybody?
In July.
That's pushing it a bit.
August.
Yeah.
This year sometime.
Well, okay, no beads are going out today. Thank you so very much. And anybody have any announcements they'd like to make? Yes, Jen.
I would just like to say that Ruth did a magnificent job talking about the Tarot.
Yes, she did.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. And Ruth is one of our ministerial students, and we're so glad to have her here. Thank you so very much. And
Doti's going to be teaching the class next Thursday.
Yay.
Yay.
Auras. So for anybody here from the ministerial class, you need to wear a white top or bring a white sweater or something. That way you can see your aura a lot better if you're wearing something white. I'm bringing a man's shirt 3X that we can throw over you if you don't wear something like that. So we can do auras, and so that's going to be fascinating. Also, coming up next Saturday is the UCM annual meeting. So if you're signed in as a ministerial student, as a like Ronnie, I'm looking at him, a trustee. If you're signed in as a member of UCM, you're invited to attend. So please get your membership in if you haven't.
Membership meeting, so if you're a member.
Yeah. Okay. And we have our wonderful Gabrielle is going to make an announcement. Come on up, Gabrielle. Gabrielle is the head of this joint. Well, I keep introducing you as the president of the world, and you kind of say no.
It would be a different world. Yeah, it would be a very different world if I was president. Anyway, I have two announcements. On the 11th of June is another Viva Calle when they're blocking off the streets. They're not going to block off the Alameda, but they are going to block off San Carlos. And I will give Corky the map so that if you come up San Carlos, you know you can't. So you will have to recalibrate how you get here. Then, the other fabulous announcement, and maybe some of you who don't live here may want to come down for this. We're doing a post-Pride disco dance.
Oh my
And it's going to be right after this event on the 9th of July. So we're going to decorate. We expect you to be dressed ready for disco. We will darken the place and pretend that it's nighttime, and it'll be glitter glamour. We have a DJ who is already preparing the disco music. We have a disco ball, which we won't turn because some people get headaches from it. You know, this is probably why in the 70s people collapsed. So this will be a bit of a collaboration between CCL and the Billy DeFrank Center. Yay!
Bravo!
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And do we have food? Do we have food today? You could announce that.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, there's food here.
Come get it.
Okay. Oh, for those of you who maybe haven't been here before, we have free food right back there. Please feel free to take free food. And I have a few people who said, you know, it's really helped me having that food and make it through the week. Yeah. So this is people are taking the food, and we really do appreciate that. Also today at from 2 to 4. They're having, Serendipity Choir is having a presentation for Glenn, who passed away. And it's going to be at the Unitarian Universalist Church in San Jose off of Blossom Hill. And I have the address for anybody who wants it. We're going to be going, Corky and I are going to be going. And Sherry. I decided that I have known Glenn since 1978.
Wow.
And he told me, now you'll understand this is the 70s. I said, Glenn, how did we meet? And he said, well, all I remember was there was 5 naked men in your hot tub and we were singing. Blah, the 70s. So that's how long I know that man. And so he still has not left the Corners place. He's still on ice, as it were. His body is still refrigerated.
Tell him what Ma said when you asked him.
So when I asked my spirit guide, Ma, I said, where's Glenn? And why isn't he talking to anybody? And he said, he's singing with the biggest choir he's ever been in. And I just went, whoa. Yeah, why does he worry about us when that's right. He's singing with the greatest choir there is. So that's what's happening. So I'd like you to all take a nice deep breath. And our wonderful Dr. Ayleen, we don't know how long she's going to be here.
Neither does she.
She keeps threatening that she's leaving, and then every time she threatens, I have her come up and do the opening prayer and meditation, and then I said, "How are you doing?" "Well, it's going to be another couple of weeks," and then but as long as we've got her here, we love her leading our. And let's just combine the prayer and meditation together,
Sure.
can we?
Sure.
That'll be great. Come up.
Like I said, I'll have one by the time I get there.
Yes, and this is our wonderful Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine. Yay! I'm sneaking back to sit down behind you.
Okay, so also, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
To
Day.
everyone who is a mother in body, mind, or spirit.
Yes.
And to give you an update on one of our church moms, Patty Ray, she was in a rehab facility, complications developed, now she's back at Valley Medical. I will be sharing with Corky her room number once. I'm going to be going by there after church and checking in on her. And then I'll find out what her room number is, and she loves visitors. So, and it's a very scary sort of time for her. So,
Does she ever charge her phone?
I made sure that her phone was charged
We have
before I
tried
left.
to call her, so.
Well, the problem is that she didn't quite have the strength. She was pushing on the wrong spot on the phone, so she couldn't get it to activate. So we've been working on that.
Thank you.
So, but prayers, thoughts, and good intentions for her. But she sends her love, and she loves everyone. So, as far as my leaving, I ended up. First, the lady who's letting me stay with her decided to go back home to Costa Rica for a month, so I had to stay to house sit for her. Then I was given an offer to serve as the interim pastor for another church, and it's like, well, okay, they made me an offer I actually couldn't refuse. That will help me financially when I get there. So now it is projected that last week in June, first week in July, that I'll be going.
Oh, good to be here for my birthday.
So, yay! So anyway, it is a special day, and we've got a wonderful special speaker. So everybody take a nice deep breath in and let it out. And just, dear, wonderful, blessed Creator, we thank you for this day and our lives. We thank you for what it means to be a mother. I thank you for what it means to be a mother, because through that, you taught me a whole new meaning of love. And as my first son was placed in my arms, I didn't think I could ever love anything that much. And then you gave me my second. And it was a different love, but it was still love. And as we think about the love of, and especially your love, Creator, for you are Father and Mother, and that maternal love that we receive, that we feel, it takes us to that wonderful place of knowing we're not alone, and knowing that we can be pushed, but that you're always there, even when you push us beyond what we think we can do. So I want everybody to imagine that you are a baby eagle, and you look over the edge of your nest, and you're way high up on a peak, and behind you is your mother, who is standing there guarding you as she always has done, yet today feels different. There's something different about her. And as you sit on the edge of the nest that has been your safe place and your home and your place of nurturing, you notice she suddenly starts to push and begins to nudge you toward the edge, which she has never done. And you look in her face and there's a steely determination, and you're scared. And as you resist, you notice she knocks away part of the nest. Again, steely determination. And you suddenly run out of safety, and you're in the air, and you're falling. and you're not sure what's happening. You're not sure about how to manage it. And as you see the ground moving towards you, you close your eyes expecting the end. And then suddenly, under your claws, you feel something lifting you up. You dig your claws in, and then instinct overrides panic. And suddenly something awakens in you, and you spread your wings. Your claws open, and you catch the wind, and you're flying. And as you look around, you see your mother. You see as feathers fall from her back. A little bit of blood, but she doesn't seem to mind. And you know that that's what she had to do so that you could learn what it truly meant to be an eagle. The mother's love that reminds us that it is about teaching us to fly and moving forward. And whether that mother is in this life or not, you feel their love now. You feel their desire to see their child fly, to not just be the one who gave you life, but gave you a reason to live. Thanks, Mom. I miss you, and I will always love you.
Oh, mother, mother in my heart, I see you, I feel you, and I know that I'm a part of this rich and wonderful world. As the path unfolds, it brings me home, and I know you're close, following me quietly, bringing me home to my destiny. And my mother's heart cries free. All that we are and all that we can be is found in the mother's heart, inside of me. I can be a mother to all my village within. Oh, I can be a mother to all the world I'm in. I can be a mother to all the hearts that hurt. I can be a mother, and we know we are free.
wonderful people who help mother you and support you in your life. And so it is. Welcome. Thank you, Ronnie. I was going to ask you if you have a song to sing, but we're not too sure we can get by with. We got another hit again last week because the song that Desmond sang, which is in a whole different religion, they kicked us off of YouTube. Yep. So we're down to 2, and we only get 3. So Ronnie, it was so good to hear your voice.
Well, it wasn't a copyright strike, but it flagged the video and said that section was copyright, and so it would need to be removed. So we still have a clean record. Oh. If we had tried to push it forward, maybe.
Wow. Oh wow! So it's amazing. So we'll have to, Ronnie. We're gonna have to when we're not on video. I have you sing us a song. I hate to pass the opportunity.
We need to write an original for Ronnie.
We have to write an original for Ronnie. Okay. Hey, there you go. There you go, Jan. You can write an original for Ronnie, so we can sing.
So Ronnie, we'll do an original right here. We'll do one with you. Okay.
I'll write you. I'll write you one.
Okay.
What did you say about it? Ruth, what did you say? I don't know. Anyway, she was saying something about a song.
We have people talking in the background?
Yeah, Ruth was.
Well, if
had an idea.
Hey, if I don't hear it, I hate to say it, but if I don't hear it, it doesn't happen.
Oh, good.
Ask Corky. Okay, well, our speaker today has promised us something a little bit different. She's going to be talking about Battle of Motherhood, and I am so excited to hear what that's about, and our Reverend Joan Stutes. And for those that just came in, please open up your program and look at the hearts and the words about mother.
That's our Mother's Day card to you.
This is our Mother's Day card to you. We thought we were going to get you plastic flowers, and I thought those will go in the landfill. And then we thought we would get you real flowers, and we thought, well, that'll go into the garbage. And so I said, I want something that honors Mother's Day that people can take home. And so there is our card to you, sending you love. Okay, are you ready, Reverend June?
I certainly am.
Okay.
Yay!
You want me to hold the cup for you, or are you going? Is this cup important?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, well, let me get out of your way here, okay? There we go. And now, you have enough space there?
Yep.
Good.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joan.
Good morning.
Reverend Joan.
So I'm going to talk about motherhood today. I called it battling motherhood because sometimes motherhood is a battle. I'm going to talk about several different topics. One is, I'm going to begin by mothering yourself, okay? Then I want to talk about my daughter Becky, my daughter Margie, and then at the end, Tim, and then I'm going to ask you if you have stories to share, and then Tim and Jan are going to end the program with a nice, one of Tim's lovely prayer songs, what I call his prayer songs. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Let's go.
Mothering yourself. You know, sometimes you don't have the mother that you wish you had. And I'm sure that every one of us had the mother, wished we had a different mother at least once in our life. I know I did. Why wasn't my mother Donna Reed on TV? Well, she wasn't. You know, she believed that starting a task and finishing a task, and if it meant canning 100 jars of peaches on a hot, steamy day in Southern California, by God, that's what you did. And you started it and you finished it. So that was the mother I had, sort of a more of a male energy of start something and learn how to finish it. So I've learned how to do that. But because of that, I've also learned to collect habits and friends who kind of mother me. So one of the things I do on a regular basis is read Daily Word and begin each morning with kind of a little thought of some sort. And I don't read the whole thing. Do you want me to be honest with you? I do not read the whole thing, but I do read the part. I bless all mothers with thoughts of gratitude. Well, that sends me into a nice place of thinking of motherhood and being gracious about the lessons that she taught me, whether I wanted them or not. So last night, Marie came over for dinner, and she and I have done this a number of times, and I did this slow cooker thing, and I ended up with a lot of dishes, and bless her heart, she got in there and washed every dish. And so she mothered me. You know, that's something a mother would do. So it's important to collect habits and people that add to your feeling of being mothered, of being a part of the world and appreciated and taken care of.
Yeah, Daddy lets me do the dishes. Thank you, Daddy.
And one of the things this group does is extend that inclusion. And one of my friends who attends said she visited a number of churches, and she said, you were so friendly and so inclusive that I chose you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how we're known in the community. And that's part of the mothering, be inclusive. So let me talk about my daughter Becky. She was born in San Bernardino in July.
Oh, no.
It was 100 degrees every day, over 100 degrees every day for the first 6 weeks of her life. And she was a scrawny little thing with all knees and elbows, not cuddling. And we had a difficult 6 weeks, I'm telling you. Part of it was her, and just Becky being Becky, which is still true. And part of it was me, was an anxious new mom.
Yeah.
And part of it was being in such heat with no air conditioning.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, we had a swamp cooler, you all know what those are?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they send warm water through the air.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So Becky learned to walk when she was 9 months old, and she would run tippy-toe through the house looking for trouble. So I did the old-fashioned thing and put her in a playpen
All right.
where she was safe and I was sane. So I put her in with her books and dolls and toys, and I would sit and watch her. And one day she picked up one of those little golden books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And tore out the first page. Okay. My reaction was, we don't tear up books. What are you doing, you stupid kid? But she tore another page out. The book was obviously ruined. And a little voice in my head said, watch. I was not in the spiritual studies at that time. I didn't know meditation. I didn't know astral projection, astrology, tarot. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a spirit guide. I didn't have messages from God. But you see, we're all spiritual beings. And we all, whether we know it or not, get spiritual messages. And this was, I now realize, a spiritual message. Watch her. Just watch. She tore each page and put it beside her, made a nice little stack, and when the last page was torn, she patted it. And then she turned to other toys, and then she came back, spread all the pages out in the playpen, gathered them up, stacked them up, and patted them. And I thought, this is a clue about how she's going to approach life. She's going to be very organized, very disciplined, very focused. And I have to honor that. So what turned out? How did it turn out? Are you ready for the end of the story?
Yes.
She took up ice skating as a teenager.
Wow.
Nothing requires more dedication and focus than ice skating. And I used to get so insanely mad at her because she'd skate around and make the same mistake over and over. And one day I pinned her against the wall at the ice skating rink and said, bend your foot when you land. She said, I did. You did not. Bend your foot when you land. Don't fall down. So the next time around, she bent. You have to land on a bent knee, okay?
Yeah.
She did it the next time. So we had some little confrontations along the way. Do any of you relate to that?
No, of course not.
Her goal was to get into an ice show, and she did skate in Holiday on Ice in Europe for 1 year.
Wow.
Good for her.
After a few more, screaming matches. But she did it. So after she got hurt in the ice show, which she came home and said, I know why Grace Kelly died in the hospital. That's how hospitals are over there. Yeah. But anyway, she came home, enrolled in college in accounting like her father had, and she became a CPA. She passed her test the first time. She worked for CPA firms. She also worked for the county, and her most recent job was, hold your breath, audit manager for the Port of Oakland.
Whoa!
With her own parking place. Oh my God! I knew she'd made it when I saw the parking place.
Yay!
That's incredible.
But that focus and determination and patting the pages, she knew how to manage success within the different groups that she worked. And I think that was the patting the pages.
Wow.
Okay, so that's Becky. Margie. Now, Margie was sweet, lovable, oh my God, smiled all the time, ate everything I gave her, didn't complain, and she had lots of friends. Becky had no friends. So by the time Margie was in junior high, there was a group on our street in Cupertino of 5 or 6 kids, okay? And they all were the same age, and they ran around, and she came into me one day with this incredibly wonderful plan. The junior high kids were going to get one of the high school kids on the block to drive them to the Russian River, and they were going to rent a house and stay at the Russian River for a weekend, a long weekend, and they were going to go swimming and canoeing and just do things, have a vacation. And was I okay with that? No, I was not. By this time I was in the spiritual studies, but I didn't need a spiritual message on that one. So she said, no, but don't you want to talk about it? I said, no, I'm not going to talk about it. The answer is no. So the next week they had a new plan. And the next week they had a different plan. And the plan kept shifting a little bit. They were trying to make it better. And every time she came to me, I said, no, I'm not even discussing it. So I thought it had died. But all of a sudden it resurfaced. Guess what? We finally got this couple to go and stay in another house close by. And if we get in trouble, they'll help us. I said, I told you no 6 weeks ago. I told you no 5 weeks ago. My answer has not changed. It is no, and I don't want to hear about it again. Okay. So I didn't hear any more about it. Years later, she said, Mom, you were the only mother that never caved. And I was so proud of you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Years later.
Wow.
Okay, so Margie went to college, took a job in the tech industry, became a stay-at-home mom, and is a sweet, loving stay-at-home mom. And when I had surgery, she was that same sweet, loving person that she was as a baby. So the signs were there early on about the way she would approach life. They are so different, their teachers never could fathom if they were related because of their differences. The kids, we kept track of, she kept in touch with the kids in the neighborhood as they grew up. They all confronted difficulties early on. One of them had a baby when she was in 10th grade, gave it up for adoption. Another one was in a terrible accident and ended up paralyzed in a wheelchair. Oh my gosh. Another one had another tragic thing. There was a lot of tragedy in those kids. Right after that whole scenario happened, we moved out of the neighborhood, but she kept in touch with them. But it's so important to stand your ground and speak your truth and speak it with strength and conviction, because it matters. It matters. Now, so that's Becky, that's Margie. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my mom. We had various fallings out over the years, but when she became a grandma and the kids learned to camp, she and I would take them on camping trips, and they were always, you know how crazy camping trips can be.
Oh, yeah.
Just, we had one disaster after another, but we always laughed about it. And then she lived close by during her last years, and I used to take her to the doctor, and you know how you have to wait and wait. We would talk about all these camping trips that we went on and laugh about how much fun they were. And that was a good ending to a mother-daughter relationship. So store up your good memories and review them as you go through life. That's one thing that I did with Earl. We had so much fun. Yes, we had difficulty. Every relationship is difficult at times, but we had so much fun. Try and store up the joyous memories. So motherhood is a battle, yes, and it's an opportunity for loving and taking this sweet little baby and nurturing them into their path of adulthood. Okay, so I covered what I wanted to say. So now it's your turn. Do you have a mother-daughter experience you'd like to share? Yes, Mary.
Thank you.
Come on up, and you can be.
I don't want to be on camera.
Well, come on up and speak in the mic then.
Okay. All right, so every year, boy, the last probably 10, 15 years, I would go to Minnesota for Mother's Day. I would be there May 1st, and I'd go to the May Day celebration that, it was kind of a Celtic thing they had in Minneapolis. Then I'd go up north, and the night before Mother's Day, I would go and I would buy many, many bouquets of flowers, lots of flowers, and I'd put them in vases, and I'd put them all over my mother's house, and she'd wake up, and it was just a big bunch of flowers, and she'd like, "Daughter, you don't have to do this." And that's how she, "Daughter." So I kept doing it, and I always did it up until when she passed. But I realized, too, that it was a lot of work for Mom. And when she said, "Daughter, you don't have to do this," it was like, please don't give me all these flowers to take care of for the next 3-4 weeks. But she was gracious, and it was, "Daughter," and at the end I took care of the flowers, and I realized she meant you don't have to.
Jeannie.
Well, probably the 3 most significant things that I learned from my mother was the phrase, "I will always love you, but I will not always like you." That's not my job. And the idea that, whenever she heard the phrase, "necessity is the mother of invention," she'd say, "No, a mother's necessity is invention." And when I was a young mother and completely feeling like I had been promoted to a position I had no training in, I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, the biggest thing that's scaring me is that I don't know if I'm a good mother." And she looked at me and she said, "You are, because if you weren't, the idea of not being a good mother wouldn't scare you and it wouldn't matter."
Whoa.
Well, now you know how bad my eyes are, because that was Ayleen, not Jeannie. You see, the graciousness of this audience is their acceptance and their laughter. Thank you so much for your graciousness. Okay, any more stories? Yes, come on up.
This is one of those, I don't want to be up here, but I keep feeling like I should be up here to tell this story.
So this is Ruth.
Yo.
Hey, Ruth.
So, it's not about me and my mom, it's about me and my child. They're 20. So I went through years of having undiagnosed PTSD, and of course that created a little bit of extra drama that you don't really need. But one of the things that my child said to me was that the reason why we can have such a positive relationship despite some of the mistakes that were made and things is because they could tell that I was always trying to do better, and that I really meant it when I would apologize, because I would always try to do better. And that's what I felt like I should just share.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing.
Do you have time for one more?
Yeah, we're time for one more. But it's a constant thing about trying to do better in any goal or any life path you're on, or like your music, you're always trying to do better. And motherhood is no different. It's not an inborn skill that you come. You're given a baby and I'm a mother. No, that isn't it. Ronnie?
Yay.
Yay, Ronnie.
And Sherry heard her gift also.
I am the sixth child of 7 children. The youngest one of us passed away, which made me the baby of the family. And Mom was a single mother. Yes, with 7 children. A lot of times, when we thought we would get away with something, we found out that we didn't. We would ask her, well, Mom, why do you know this? She says, because I have eyes in the back of my head. Very spiritual person. And we'd ask, why can't we do that? And she'd say, her answer for why we couldn't do it was because I'm Mom, that's why.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a good answer.
She would take food from us to give to somebody else when they were in need.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on the block called her Mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there was a family of 14 on the block who called her Mom. But she never wavered because she was Mom.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I said so.
Because I said so also.
Sherry, did you want to say something?
I was going to say, okay, I'll say something.
Oh, come on up.
I feel lucky enough to be with my mom today. I was going to just add to the same point as my mom never wavered either, and that's one of the things that I always am proud of, because she never wavered. I tried to break her, you know. Never would she waver. And so I was actually like thinking about that, you know, one of the nicest traits that she has, and that I feel like, you know, I've been through some highs and lows and many highs, and so somebody said to me, they were like, you know, don't, because they say you're supposed to do it for yourself, you know, you're supposed to really just get there for yourself, you know, but then she just, you know, pulled me into her office and she said, I'm going to tell you the straight truth. She says, what are they going to say? Your mom going to say, I did my best? You know what I mean? Oh, she did her best, but then that's how I ended, you know what I mean? So I'm always thinking to myself that my mom, I could see how she follows in her like father's footsteps. She's such a joiner in everything, you know what I mean? Her father had like 8 obituaries, was a captain of the seas. I mean, good, and he, until the day he died, he was a maritime captain. And so my mom, I noticed she's a joiner and she's a, you know, opera lady and all this stuff. And so I follow in her footsteps, and I realized, like, the point that I'm trying to say is that she's not going to have to say she tried her best in that kind of way.
Yay!
Yeah. Because I'm always growing and learning, and I know that my mom never wavered, and I'm not going to waver to be my
That's right.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jocelyn, right?
Yeah.
So nice to see you and have young people here. Okay, are we finished with that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I have a mother.
You have a mother? Oh, do you have your hand up?
Eyes in the back of your head are yeah. My mom was perfect. I mean, everybody who met my mom would say, Dottie has the greatest mom. And she had been through some of the most horrendous things in her life that you could imagine. And it was always, Mom was always there. As I said, she'd turn her badge upside down so it said wow, and she really was a wow. And one of the things I had put into the CCL Insights is my mother had been sexually molested by her father for many, many, many years. She told tales of when she knew he was coming for her, and there was nothing she could do to stop him. And she started working when she was 7. She ended up working in the aircraft industry during the Second World War, and she was small enough she could crawl into the fuselage and inspect it. So she was one of the few inspectors working for Douglas Aircraft. She worked in the fields when we moved to the ranch. She could lift a bale and do anything but better than anybody. And she always smiled, and everything was great. She raised some great kids. And the thing about my mom is that I never heard her yell at me. She never yelled at me. She'd say, now tell me why you did that. And if I had a good reason, she'd say, okay. If I didn't, she'd say, well, let's redo it. I couldn't sew, she sewed. I couldn't crochet, she crocheted. I mean, all of those wonderful things that my mom did. Well, and every one of her kids will tell you, we had the best mom. We had the mom everybody wanted to have. And she could have been just the opposite with her background. I don't know how she survived. And polio. She had polio, she had a stillborn child, she had just amazing things. And watching Mom, I think it was like she came into the world to show us, you can survive anything. Don't worry about it, it's gonna be okay. And so every time I think of Mother's Day, I think of my mom because she could swear like a sailor. And, everybody said, she's so sweet. I go, yeah. And, but we raised the kids because my brother came first, and I was 9 years old. And then my sister, I was 12, and my other brother, I was 14. So my 14-year-old, the one that was born 14 years later, my brother Bart, one day somebody said, oh, have you got a great mother? He said, I have a mother and a Dottie. And so that was amazing. So I don't know if we choose our parents for various reasons, but I feel that when I chose the best mother in the whole world.
Well, I think we'll end in that sweet story, and Tim and Jan are going to play and sing a song for us to kind of close out this part of the program. So please welcome Tim and Jan.
Reaching, aspiring to touch a star, it may seem light years from where you are. Just follow your bliss, it will lead you beyond your high from the day I first held you in my arms. I always knew you would bless the world each day in your own unique way, reaching, aspiring to touch a star. It may seem light years from where you are. Just follow your bliss, it will lead you beyond your highest ideal. My child, as I watch you grow, there's something that I want you to know. As you move through life's journey, I'll always love you unconditionally. Reaching, aspiring to touch a star. It may seem light years from where you are. Just follow your bliss, it will lead you beyond your highest ideals. Beyond your highest ideals.
Oh, thank you so much. Fantastic.
My little brother wrote that.
Thank you, Tim. That was fantastic. Okay. This is a time that we're going to play passing the basket. Somebody wants to jump up and grab the basket. And while you're passing the basket, let's start with our wonderful Dr. Ayleen. Would you lead us in our prayer for the basket?
Okay, and you'll find this in your program. Giving to the ministry from which I receive my spiritual support and nurturing is an affirmation in consciousness of the truth that spirit is the prospering power enriching every area of my life.
And so it is. Please don't forget, if you're a member of UCM, we're having our meeting at 2 o'clock on Saturday. If any of you are interested in going to the celebration of life that's going to be held at 2 o'clock by Serendipity Choir for our friend Glenn Singer, please see me and I can give you instructions on where it's going to be. It's going to be a potluck. And if you have any other announcements or things to talk about, do it as we're going to be closing the service. But please stay. We've got coffee. We've got free food, we've got free books, and we've got Ed. Yes. He comes in early, he works and works and works. Yes. He stays late to put the equipment away. I don't know what we do without Ed Bardo here. He is amazing. And so, can we get a round of applause? Yes. Thank you so much. And who's on Zoom?
Let's see. Laura, Lolly, Patty and Joyce, and Sky.
Okay. Yes. Hey. Hello, Sky. It was nice seeing you. Yes.
Could I ask, oh dear, my mother called me this morning for advice, and I told her to go immediately to the emergency room. She's 95, so if you could keep her in your thoughts, I'd appreciate it.
What's your first name?
Jerry.
Jerry.
Okay, well, let's bless you.
Yes.
Yes.
That's Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, as I always say, this is your mommy. When we say mother, it seems to place her distant. But when we say mommy, that's who this is, and she's very sick. Yeah. And so, of course, We want her to, whatever's best for her. If it's best for her to be released or to recover, whatever is best for her highest good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And all caring for her will provide that.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that's one of the hardest things, is to share the fact that one of our parents is not doing well and might not make it. I mean, that is the most heartfelt thing, and that it takes a lot to do that. Thank you so much, Jeannie. Okay. We've had music, we've had sharing, we've had blessings.
Next week is Tim.
Next week is Tim.
Yes.
And what are you speaking about next week, Tim?
In the spirit of abundance.
Ooh, I love
yeah,
it.
abundance,
You would
yeah.
like more prosperity in your life? That would be a good week to be here.
Yeah, okay, abundance next week, we like that. And I'm just gonna say a very quick, if you just kind of close your eyes and say, Mother, Father, God, thank you so very much for being here with us today. And know that when we think of you as this creator, it's a mother, father, all combined, an energy that is there whenever we need it. And sometime today you might just want to reach out and ask those spirits to watch over you for the rest of the day. It feels good. And if one of your parents or both of your parents are in spirit, ask them to send some sign or love today. It's a nice day to find out that spirit is a continuation and they're there. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Jan, you look like you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, let us feel the love that is in this room. Let us wrap it around our hearts and to wrap it around any heart that might need it right now.
Thank you so very much. And thank you, Joan. That was great. And for all the mothers, don't forget to look at the inside of your program, because I think it's something you can share with people today as you go about having a very, very good day. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next week. Yay! See you at the UCM meeting.
Yes.